manufacturer to sell sparkling and still wine on or off premises and ship directly to a consumer.
Representative Orgeron.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. You might want to reset the clock here that's running on me. Not a problem. I'm going to say it is a simple bill because basically it just removes one clause of statute, a clause that was added in 2015. I'll take you back a little story. Basically, I'm bringing this forth for all Louisiana wine consumers. Back in the late 1990s, a small Lafayette lawyer by the name of Jeff Landry worked on putting together some statutes or some legislation to start up direct-to-consumer wine distribution in Louisiana. Ultimately, that went into effect in 1998. Y'all should all have the statute that I'm looking to change. That's Revised Statute 26, Section 359. And I highlighted the area that is the direct-to-consumer area, Section B. And in that, you'll see that in 1998, in the left margin, all of those A through H was done in order to allow wine to be directly shipped from vineyards here in the U.S. to Louisiana citizens directly. And then in 2015, that's whenever it changed. Back in 2011, I went on my 25th anniversary to Napa and joined the wine club. And for pretty much 4 years, every 3 or 4 months, I had wine delivered directly to my house. Every time it came in, my wife and I reminisced about our anniversary time in Napa as we enjoyed the wine that was delivered directly to us. During that time, sales tax was paid to the state of Louisiana and excise tax as well. And permits were done by the vineyards to be able to ship that direct to consumer. In 2015, additional legislation was enacted. That's where you see this one little line here that's highlighted in the handout that I provided. That's line I, the clause that I'm looking to repeal. It is that line that basically said that any label or any wine that is on contract with a wholesaler in Louisiana would be prohibited from being shipped directly to a consumer. Right then and there, my shipment stopped. What I realized was that a completely new business had started up, and that business was companies with the name of Stagecoach and let me get another one, California Wine Transport and Bodega and Eagle Rock Shipping. There's about 20 of them, and these companies are right down the street from the vineyards. So now what happens is people like myself that are in these clubs, the wine is shipped down the street. The consumer like me pays California state sales tax, and ultimately that wine is reshipped into Louisiana. So by removing this one line, it would basically take us back to the 15 years or so that we had where we were able to get direct shipping. You're going to hear a lot of oppositions from retailers, wholesalers, basically saying that their entire world and their entire empires will collapse. This is a very, very small niche market of wine that comes in. And basically what I see is that prior to the 2015 and 2016 modification of this line I, they were maybe getting 98 or 99% of the available profits for wine being brought in, and they wanted 100%. So additionally, just basically repealing this, what the bill does is it repeals this one line. It would allow wine shippers in the U.S. to ship directly into Louisiana. Louisiana is one of 6 states that have prohibitions on direct-to-consumer. Only 6. 3 of them have a complete prohibition. That would be Delaware, Mississippi, and Utah. And Louisiana, along with Wyoming and Indiana, are the other 3 states that have some form of prohibition that provides just enough limitation that the vineyards in California do not purchase the permit, do not sign up for sales tax because of the prohibitions that this I clause stops them from getting.
Gone over about a minute, but you remember I give you a little.
I'm done. That's it.
Right. You got Representative Zarang with a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Representative Orgeron, that must have been one hell of a trip if you and Angela constantly reminiscing, so applaud you for that.
Thank you, sir.
I love wine myself and understand what you're trying to do. And my only question is, we're hearing from entities in the state that it puts them at a competitive disadvantage. How would you respond to that?
I would say it's such a small market of the number of Louisiana citizens that go and prefect sales in California that whenever you're there and as soon as you taste the wine, they ask if you want to buy it. As soon as you get to the word Louisiana, they pretty much fold up their iPad and they walk away and say, with some usually negative connotations with Louisiana legislatures or the Louisiana alcohol lobbyist system. So I think it's such a small, minor part of the market that I don't think this would make a de minimis change in their activities. So that's why I wanted for free market, Louisiana consumer choice, and that's why I'm running this bill.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Representative Hebert.
Thank you, Chairman. I guess that would possibly answer my question. Look, small business grocery store in my community is reaching out and saying to oppose this bill. And so, these are, and that was my question, trying to, why would my small business grocery stores be in opposition of your bill?
They might think that every wine drinker will immediately start direct to ship across the board. I am a big wine drinker. I've only in one club all my life. It was the one that I went with my wife on. I still buy Stag's Leap. I still buy Cannabis. I still buy Opus One. I buy it at Rouse's. I buy it across the lake. I make the drive sometime to go find good wine. I still buy retail, but this is just for Louisiana citizens that go to California, that you're not singled out by having come from we're a party state. We shouldn't have this prohibition on our books just for that ever so small amount of profit that's done on these rare occasions.
So as you're talking, it just kind of pops in my head. Look, I'm just like you. I love my wine. I love my trips to Napa. I don't know what I'd do without my wine. Got me through COVID. Very much did get me. Stayed at home. Consumed a lot. But if we were, still consuming it. If this statute were to come off, would this create a scenario that could get into direct competition in a bigger way with our grocery stores?
I don't see how. We ran it from 1998 all the way to 2015. It ran exactly the way that I'm trying to put it back. And whenever the opposition comes up, try to ask them, who died from bad wine? What's the negative effect to the consumer? What was the lack of choice? I'm telling you, it's all going to go back to profit. The three-tier model, we want to be in control. We want not 98% of the profit, we want 100% of that profit. That's all it means.
But in our last meeting, we heard something that was similar inside this three-tier model. And so how would this apply based on what we did?
The three-tier model has a lot of exceptions in it, and this is one that was made in 1998 to allow the direct-to-consumer shipping with all the A through H, with all the stipulations. Got to be shipped to somebody who signs 21 years of age, or everything that's written right here. They got to have a permit. They got to submit sales tax that we're not currently getting right now to the state of Louisiana. They got to, all these different things that were already in place.
We're out of time.
That's it.
Representative Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative Orgeron, and let me, full disclosure, I've traditionally been in favor of the three-tier system and protection. But and I think my bill in 2016 or 17, I forget what year it was, where it was my bill to allow or specifically state that if the labor was for sale in Louisiana, it took care of that. But I still have two concerns, as you're aware, okay? Let's say you have a winery that has a label for sale, but it may be a special reserve. They may only send a case of that wine to the state of Louisiana, I'm never going to get that bottle, okay? So I have that concern. And also this, if I've been a member of a wine club for 20-something years, which I have, and they make me an offer, okay, in their monthly email, and I can't take advantage of that wine membership, I would at least like something to be addressed with that. Because for 20 years, I was able to receive that wine, and then all of a sudden in 15, 16, I stopped being able to receive that wine. Now, I know I can be there, but, you know, I'm not as wealthy as some people. I can't go to Napa monthly and place my order at the winery and have it shipped here. So those are my two concerns. Where you have, I respect the retail system. I respect the needs, and I know the history of the three-tier system, and I don't disagree with it. But some common sense has to come in play where a wine that's labeled for sale in Louisiana, but they're very limited. The reality is I'm probably not going to be able to get that label.
Retail.
And the second thing is, if I'm a member of a wine club that I'm paying money to and have been for years, I should be able to avail myself to those labels.
I could give you an example. First of all, I don't travel to Napa that much. 2011 for my 25th and only one time since. But Cake Bread's Dancing Bear is a rarer wine that you find in high-end restaurants. And it's, despite going to my Rouse's and seeing an entire shelf now that has almost every variant of Cake Bread, the Dancing Bear variant is absent. So this would again allow me to be able to directly get that shipped to me and pay the Louisiana state sales tax and let Louisiana collect that in light of our upcoming shortfall.
I wish we could find some sort of happy medium here to address some of the issues. I know you're trying to address it in a different way, but I wish we could at least find some way to address some of these issues. Thank you.
Representative Jordan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Look, I'll be brief. I mean, you know, you and I have talked about this, and you know, I just think, you know, it's not like, you know, the wine. If people, you know, if they try hard enough, I'm sure they can get it here. If you want to ship it to a UPS store in Texas or somewhere else and then have that shipped to you. And, you know, we shouldn't have to go through all those hurdles to do this. So I think this is a good bill. At the appropriate time, I'm going to move favorable.
All right.
Thank you, Representative Jordan. The tax is really one of the things that eats at me, is that I'm paying sales tax for this wine to the state of California right now, where it should be coming here.
I just want to say I highly respect Rep. Orgeron. But with the state of the economy the way it is and the small percentage of impact this bill will have on the small business owners in the state of Louisiana, I'd like to object to this bill at the appropriate time.
Thank you.
All right. We have one green card in favor. Did not wish to speak. Eric Sundstrom with the Wine Institute. Representative Orgeron, if you'll get...
Happily yield the table.
All right.
To my opposition.
I've got a lot of opposition cards I'm going to read in. John Williams, Beer Industry League, opposed, and will provide information. Do you wish to speak, Mr. Williams? All right. I've got Daniel Pritchett with Rouse's Markets, present, would like to speak. Eric Becker, I guess doesn't represent anybody, present in opposition, did not wish to speak. Adam Aquaspace, present, would like to speak. Mr. Aquaspace. Mr. Nick Selby, present and would like to speak with Uncorked. Stephen Ledette, present and in opposition, but do not wish to speak. Jessica Elliott with the Louisiana Retailers Association, present in opposition, do not wish to speak. Robbie Williams, present in opposition with Associated Grocers. Present in opposition, do not wish to speak. Will DeBose with the Louisiana Restaurants Association. Present in opposition, not wish to speak, Ryan Haney with Southern Glazers Wine and Spirits. Present in opposition, not wish to speak, Allison Rivera, Beer Industry League. Present in opposition, but do not wish to speak, Trenton Strange, Carter Supermarkets. Present in opposition, do not wish to speak, Karl Marx, Associated Grocers. Present in opposition, do not wish to speak, Dwight Barner, Crescent Crown Distributing. Present do not wish to speak, Ernie Mathern, Mathern's Market. Present in opposition, do not wish to speak, Menard Lagos, Associated Grocers. Present in opposition, do not wish to speak, Mark Roberts Fresh Market. Present do not wish to speak, Gerald Buckles, Associated Grocers. Gentlemen, you're welcome. Look at them. Gentlemen, give your name and whoever y'all want to make y'all's presentation.
Daniel Pritchett, Director of Compliance for Rouse's Markets. The issue here with this is that it does open a door. It opens a door in a significant way to competition from outside of the state of Louisiana into our market. The three-tier system is set up very specifically. I know I sat here last week and we went through the specifics of it. A winery sells to a manufacturer, manufacturer sells to, the manufacturer sells to distributor, distributor to retail to the consumer. If this is repealed, that definitively changes that. In addition to that, the taxes that are talked about, sales taxes, that's not the only taxes associated with this. Inventory levels change, increase, decrease based on the amount of inventory brought in and out of a warehouse or a retailer to sell. So there's taxes that are affected there. When it comes to distribution models, as far as who and how and what gets to the store and or consumer, there's a potential that jobs are affected or at risk. Bottom line to this is it is a very small now impact that could become a very large later impact that requires someone else to bring a bill that says we need to do this. 2015, 16, 17, 1998, all this stuff has already been vetted, and where we are now is where we need to be as a result of experience, as a result of what was vetted through the system and now is clearly understood as the way we should do business. I know we're on a limited amount of time here, so I'm going to go ahead and go to Mr. Aquistapace.
Okay. Thank you. My name's Adam Aquistapace. I'm from
And I'm having trouble.
Aquistapace,
right.
or Aquistapace, however you want to pronounce it, I'm good with. I'm from Covington, Louisiana. I'm here representing Aquistapace's, our family-owned grocery stores. We have three stores. I wouldn't exactly consider us an empire. So we're just a small business operator, but we love California wine. We have one of the largest wine selections in the state of Louisiana as a retailer. Last week we spoke extensively on the importance of and the fairness of the three-tier system and its merits. But this bill is absolutely unnecessary. And in fact, the laws of Louisiana currently allow consumers unprecedented access to every wine from all over the world now. Yes, now every wine on the planet can be or is available in Louisiana. We are in fact an outlier in that regard compared to almost every other state. The notion that we are restrictive shows a disregard for the reality and understanding of the alcohol business in Louisiana, the three-tier system of regulation and fair trade, and how each state regulates it. This bill creates an unfair economic and strategic business advantage to out-of-state businesses that are not regulated in the same manner as our local businesses are. Why should the wineries of out-of-state that do not have to comply with the same fair trade laws that local licensees do? This bill explicitly is designed to benefit wineries in California at the detriment of Louisiana-based retailers and wholesalers. In fact, this bill gives the wineries in California more rights to the Louisiana consumer than all Louisiana-owned and licensed businesses. I believe our current law unnecessarily gives out-of-state wineries too many advantages over Louisiana retailers. The big losers in this specific bill are the smaller retailers and wholesalers that pay Louisiana sales taxes and employ Louisiana residents. This bill would allow wineries in California to be both a manufacturer and retailer of wine in Louisiana without any limitation or oversight. And also regarding the Dancing Bear wine, so this is something that's not really talked about. We may not really even know, but the reason why when you go to the wineries and you they don't want to sell wine to us. They want to sell wine to you directly because the 6% laws and all those other things that are in place, the fair trade laws, don't apply to them because they're not regulated in that way. So regarding restriction of choice, Louisiana's 3-tier laws foster and promote fair trade. Prestigious wineries like the ones referenced today regularly restrict and enforce trade in the borders of Louisiana. They regulate what products are available and at what quantities per trade channel and allocate which retailers have access to that product. Don't let out-of-the-state manufacturers hijack our local laws to create a competitive disadvantage for our local businesses. They decide what products come into Louisiana. So if there's a case of wine that's not available, they decide what comes here.
All right, you're out of time.
Thank you.
Sir, give your name and title.
My name's Nick Selby. I'm here representing my family-owned distributor, Uncorked. Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, thank you for allowing me to speak today, and thank you very much for listening. House Bill 370 does not give more access than we already have. Under current law, we have a healthy and robust beverage alcohol marketplace, giving our consumers widespread access to wines from all over the world. We currently have thousands of brands available to purchase on the shelves of Louisiana retail stores and on the wine list of many of our great restaurants. Any wine not assigned to a wholesaler can be sold and shipped directly to a consumer. So to be clear, a winery doing business with a wholesaler is only prohibited from shipping the wine that is assigned to that wholesaler. Furthermore, they can also ship a wine directly to a consumer in Louisiana, whether it's in wholesale or not, if that transaction took place at the premise in California, Washington State, or Oregon. So to say that someone can go to Napa and can't get wine shipped back that they purchased there is completely inaccurate. On top of that, a consumer in Louisiana can buy wine from any retail store in any state in this country and have it shipped to their home. We are currently, I think, one of 14 states that actually allow for that. So our laws are very liberal. They are open, and they do foster a fair and free marketplace. This bill will also not give consumers any access to wine at a better price. I think you've all been provided with some talking points, and I've illustrated on there wines that were bought at local retail stores at the price point and what they would have cost to you if they would have shipped in. To speak to wine clubs themselves in their nature, so everybody understands, is it's not like walking into Mr. Equistapace's store at a Rouse's. You don't just buy what you want. You got to buy a bunch of stuff that you don't want in order to get a couple bottles of what you do want. At the end of the day, it's not in the best interest of the consumer. We have 800 or so retail stores that allow consumers to go in and purchase and then also deliver directly to consumers' homes. This is absolutely not necessary and will not provide any more access. Last but definitely not least, we were here in 2021, as Mr. Orgeron brought up. That bill at the time went to a task force. That task force came back and recommended not to pass the bill because it would take tax dollars out of the state of Louisiana on top of affecting jobs with local companies. I'm happy to answer any questions.
You've got some questions.
I can confirm what Mr. Equistapace said. As a distributor, we do have brands that say, hey, this is only available for on-premise or restaurants. We don't want this in grocery stores or retail stores. So some of what Mr. Orgeron's talking about is outside of our control.
Representative Zarang?
He just answered my question. Thank you.
All right. Representative Orgeron, it's your bill. You got questions? I'm trying. Whoa.
There we go. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. All right, in reverse order, I'll go with Mr. Selby first. Thank you for bringing out the in-person. That's the 2016 addendum that was done. The problem with that is that those vineyards, after that amendment or to the I section that I've outlined here was done, many of the ones that didn't buy the permit and registered for sales still did not. They still saw Louisiana along with the other states as being overly prohibitive and haven't resumed their direct-to-consumer shipping. Mr.
Aquistapace.
Aquistapace,
Yes,
thank
sir.
you.
Yes, sir.
I have driven 2 hours from Golden Meta to your place. I told you that last time. Great selection. In the reference to the Empire, it's in the wine division that y'all have a great Empire, and I appreciate all that y'all do there. Mr. Pritchard, I mean, all three of y'all, none of y'all have made mention of the fact that from 1998 all the way up to 2015, this was allowed. What was the negative ramifications? You talked about small now, big later, possible detriment, but I mean, it happened for 17 years. We had this. No one was harmed, no one was injured. It was only until the retail and the distributors got together and put in just clause I to stop this on-label stuff. Can any one of y'all answer the negative detriment during the 17 years when the direct-to-consumer was originally put into Louisiana statute?
Yeah, I can reference that. So every year the business changes and the way the competition is done changes, and every year as laws are created, other laws are affected. And so I will make a little anecdote, since we're talking about California, that most people probably don't know is one of the reasons why Trader Joe's and early on was able to be very successful is that they went and bought a winery permit that gave them a grandfathered winery permit that gave them a competitive advantage over all of the other retailers in California. That's how they got into the business, and that's how they made their mark. And so the business has had to adjust to those types of arbitrage opportunities. So the fact that it hasn't yet happened within our state, but you're creating an environment specifically that encourages that type of behavior to happen. The reason that the three-tier laws exist are to foster fair trade and competition, and to prevent the taking advantage of and the monopolization of the industry, and to separate out the manufacturer side from the retailer side to the supplier side.
Thank you. You mentioned the monopolization whenever you're limiting my consumer choice, but thank you. That's all the questions I got.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just 3 quick points. I think the point you made about the wine club is incorrect, because I can tell my wine club that I don't want a certain bottle or label and tell them what I want, and they will ship that to me. So I think that's incorrect. Second, with regard to being able to go to the winery, my private jet's not available to me every month that I can fly out there and to the premises and order that wine. I mean, and the last thing, can you say that every label that is available for sale or available to a wholesaler is available to the average consumer out there?
Reverend, I'd say I fly Southwest. Oh, sorry. I fly Southwest. I don't have a private jet either, so you can get to Napa for a fairly reasonable price. There might be a couple wine clubs that do allow you to pick, but if any were of you to go onto a website and look at the wine club, there's certain packages that you order from. You don't get to walk in there and a la carte pick what you want like you can off of a shelf.
I can.
Well, that's a specific wine club. Most wine clubs are not like that. I'd love to see which one that is, and I'd be happy to sit down with you outside of that and show you all the other wine clubs that don't operate like that. And what was the question about consumers having access?
And I would like to address that question.
If a wine is available for sale through a wholesaler.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are you saying that all of those labels are available to the average consumer? That they don't have to go to a specific restaurant to get to be able to drink those wines, that they're going to send enough of that product to the state of Louisiana, it's going to be available to the average consumer.
I think that was the point we're touching on is, unfortunately, we don't have controls over their production. We don't have controls over how much they allocate to come to the state. If a winery tells me, Mr. Selby, this wine is for on-premise only consumption and I only want this sold to a restaurant, do I like that? Do I have the right to not represent that winery? Yes, sir, I do. But they're going to do that to the next distributor. So what we're telling you is the majority of the time when something is not available on the shelf, it's because we're not allowed to put it on the shelf. We have to sell it to a restaurant. Or there is also the world of you have winery owners that don't think that their wine should be on a grocery store shelf. They think it only belongs in fine bottle shops. And they try to put conditions on us for that too.
Excuse me, and this is part of what is setting up the environment that the current law prevents, because you have wineries that will not allow a certain wine, a certain label, certain brand to go into a state. And then you have to go get to California to get it. And then they start by supply and demand manipulating our market. That is why part of the reason why it changed after the 15 years Mr. Orgeron referenced.
And I apologize for the private jet. I can't afford to fly Southwest every month out there either.
I can't either. I don't go that often. I'm in the industry and I haven't been in 3 years.
They're slowly killing the legal business in Louisiana. My point is, you may have a special reserve, okay, and they may send it or it may be available for sale in Louisiana, but if you have a special reserve, you're only going to have so many bottles available.
Correct.
Yeah, we can. So to answer your question, the challenges that we face as retailers is these prestigious wineries artificially limit what you as a consumer can buy in the state of Louisiana. It's artificially limited because they do not want to sell the product to us. This is all about money for them and profit. They don't want to go through the system. They want to sell everything directly to the consumer and not have to sell anything through the system.
Time's been run over.
Mr. Chairman, I would just like to finally say, look, I have traditionally always supported the 3-tier system, and you can go look at my voting record, and I have. I think there are circumstances where we can find a way to make this happen for the average consumer out there.
I would say current law allows for the average consumer to have access to thousands of alcohol beverage products in retail stores or direct ship. Remember, we're only one of 15 states where a retailer from any state can ship wine directly to our consumer.
That's all we have. Mr. Williams, you want to testify?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. John Williams, Beer Industry League of Louisiana. I wasn't going to testify today. I was going to let these guys speak their mind as far as their business goes, but I wanted to make a point of clarification. I don't know the reference of what Representative Law that he's referencing, but in 2016, I believe Representative Brown will remember, Representative Gene Reynolds passed a bill, and what it did was it expanded the direct-to-consumer wine shipping. So the way that the law read, and if you want to look it up, it's House Bill 667, Act 636 of 2016. And what it did was the law had originally said from 2005, I believe it was, that if a winery had a relationship with a wholesaler, then they couldn't send any of their wine that they made direct to consumers. What we did was we expanded that to give consumers more choice, because sometimes they didn't have labels that they would send to Louisiana. So we wanted consumers in Louisiana to be able to get any wine in the world. So we changed it to where it say if a winery has a distribution agreement with a wholesaler in Louisiana, then they could only ship labels that are not being distributed by the distributors in Louisiana. So expanding it out, that's what happened in 2016. This is taking it to a whole different level with respect to the businesses that these retailers are in. So that's all. I just wanted to clarify that.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. It would Representative Orgeron, would you like to close?
Yes, I would.
There was one more green card put in, Stephanie Burks. present in support but do not wish to speak. There was one white card from the Commissioner, Mr. Ernest Leger, who would present and would provide information.
Members, thank you for listening to the lively discussion. Mr. Williams came back and just basically reiterated what I had already said, in that after the 2015 prohibition, a 2016 amendment by Mr. Gene Reynolds was, Representative Gene Reynolds was put in. And as I had said before, despite that change, it did not. It was still, Louisiana was still on Vineyard's prohibition list, and nothing has really changed. It didn't really expand anything. Lastly, in closing, I thought it to be quite rich whenever Mr. Aquapeste said it's all about the money and profit, speaking in behalf of the vineyards. But it's really, it doesn't matter whether it's the vineyards or the retailers and wholesalers here in the state of Louisiana. My bill is to try to increase the consumer choice back to the way it was for 17 years, again, where no detriment was done. If things change, as Mr. Pritchard said, we would be back here. I would want to protect the three-tier system, or protect the operators who I care for, both in my community and across the state of Louisiana. So I just ask for your favorable passage. We already have a motion, I believe.
Yeah, we got a motion by Representative Jordan to report favorably, and an objection by Representative Mack. Madam Secretary, will you call the roll? Let's see. Let me put you on.
Representative Bro.
Here.
Yes is to report Representative Orgeron's bill favorably. No is to be opposed to it. I didn't mean to wake you up, but we do need to vote.
So this is as to the objection, correct?
No. A vote yes is in favor of Representative Orgeron's bill. A vote no is against his bill.
All right. No.
No. Representative Brown. Yes. Representative Chenevert. No. Representative Dickerson. Representative Edmonston. No. Representative Galley. Representative Green. Yes. Representative Hebert. No. Representative Hughes. No. Representative Jordan. Yes. Representative Lacombe. Representative LaFleur. No. Representative Landry. Yes. Representative Mack. No. Representative Orgeron. Yes. Representative Ventrella. No. Representative Wiley. No. Representative Zarang. No. 5 yeas, 10 nays.
5 yeas and 10 nays. At this time, you move to voluntarily defer the bill, Representative Orgeron?
Yes.
All right. Bill voluntarily deferred. Let's see. Representative Rang, you said you had one that you've been waiting.